You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning, CSL St. George. What a lovely, lovely late summer day we're having today. As you get ready for this meditation, just relax and just breathe naturally in and out. As I read to you something Ernest Holmes put in the general summary of what the science of mind and spirit is all about. Since the divine must hold us as some part of its eternal perfection, we are fulfilling our destiny when we think of ourselves as already divine and perfect. To contemplate that divine life, which is the very center of every man's life, this is the very essence of mental healing. I'm going to read to you a poem from Hafiz, and it's a beautiful 3-sentence poem. Then I'm going to break it down and let you contemplate it through the meditation. Sometimes I forget I was created for joy. My mind is too busy. My heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift up others. O Sacred One, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul, that we might dance and that our dancing might be contagious. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, we're going to take that one step at a time here. And in between, I'm just going to ask you to breathe for a moment or two, probably a minute or so at least. I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. Seeing that your current self-concept allows you to create another self-concept, because that's what concepts are, made-up beliefs. And that you actually desire something different than what was spoon-fed to you as a child is perfectly okay. Things like I'm in pain, physically, mentally, emotionally. What must I believe in order for this to happen to me? Just breathe that in. No need to fix it. Just listen. The answer is there. The feeling is there. Just notice it. And take another breath. And just let that emotion, just feel it. You are totally safe right where you are. No need to judge it. Just let it be. Is my mind too busy? Breathe and allow for the answer that is always right where the problem is, right where it seems to be. Just allow all the thoughts to come through. Is my mind too busy? Just breathe. Or is my heart too heavy? Just let the heaviness be. Just notice it. Like I said, no need to fix it. Perfect creation is already present. Just allow your breath to breathe in and let go. Is my heart too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance, the sacred dance of life? What must I believe for my heart to be so heavy, so I forget to dance with life? Just breathe and allow the answer, for everything is within. The whole entire universe is within your very own being. Just breathe it in. The answer is already there. Infinite intelligence working with infinite possibilities. Just believe yourself to be open, free to choose another belief. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift up others. In this game of life, I can choose, because as I lift others, as I am in service to others, I too am lifted. There can be no other way. We are all in the upper room where fear does not exist. Just breathe and allow that small smile to come over your face as you realize Spirit, the divine within, is already present in every moment of your life. O Sacred One, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Breathe in the answer, dear ones. For you were born from joy, from unity, from truth, from health, from abundance, and from power. So free my soul. Think after me. I am free. I am free. I am free. I am still as the Creator created me. I am naturally divine in every moment of my life. Grateful for all the pointers, good or bad. I listen emotionally, and I know the divine is showing my mind the way home as I breathe every breath throughout my life. Every breath that we might dance with one another now and forever, and that our dancing might be contagious. And so it is. Thank you for joining us.
You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome.
Good morning and welcome to CSL St. George on this last Sunday of August in these dog days of summer. My name is Gwen Hadley. I'm a member of the Core Council. I'll be hosting today and guiding you through this service. So we continue with the theme, global theme, Living Everyday Wonder. And August is, of course, about nature. And today's talk is entitled Naturally Divine. So who are we at CSL St. George? Well, we are an open, loving, and inclusive community that supports thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, to awaken our community to its divine nature and the greatest expression of who we are. So let's look at the lineup, team. We have Marina Anderson behind the scenes doing everything technical to keep us running smoothly, which is a tough job, I can tell you. Practitioner Star Starrett, thank you for that beautiful meditation. Again, I'm hosting, I'm Gwen. Our own Alan Stanley, writer, singer, composer, will be singing and playing his guitar with us today. And another practitioner, Anita Sheff, will be speaking our invocation. And lastly, another practitioner reading our sacred reading is Bill Smith. So we just have a full lineup of pracs for you today. And then, of course, our own senior minister, Reverend Joe Kovach, will be giving us his message. So with that being said, Alan Stanley, come on down.
Hey, thank you, Gwen. Hello, everybody. I like that composer thing you added to me. That I composed a baked potato yesterday, and I found out you're not supposed to leave them in the microwave 20 minutes. You got a little bit smoky. Yeah, but anyway, you're welcome to sing along. Thank you again, Gwen. I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
So coming into this stillness, we just breathe together, and with the exhalation, settle in to that center place where we feel spirit most deeply. I invite you to close your eyes and let my words resonate within you. I know that there is only one spirit, one love, one mind, one infinite intelligence that has created all things. And it has given all things the freedom of expression. It's given me the freedom to express myself in an individual way, and yet never severing the ties with that divine pattern, that thing that has created me from itself. And so today I celebrate that divine pattern within me. And through this message that we hear today in our spiritual community, I find myself knowing more about that pattern and coming closer to being completely unified with it so that I may express it in my human life. And I invite everyone listening today to be a part of that movement. I'm grateful. I am grateful for these teachings that we are privileged to share that help to make our lives flow more easily, more smoothly, and help us to know divine truth. I'm grateful for each one speaking today, each one singing, each one doing the technology behind the scenes, and every single person who has joined us to listen and participate in any way. And so I call this good and very good, and I let it be. And so it is.
So it is. So it is. You're welcome to sing along. I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my heart. And I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life. And I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. Now we'd like to welcome Bill to perform our sacred reading this morning.
Thank you, Alan. Sitting here in my quiet place. Love that song. Today's reading is from our founder, Ernest Holmes. Can be found on page 42 of The Science of Mind. Spiritual wisdom says that God manifests through everything and is incarnated in all men, that all is divinity, and that nature herself is the body of God. The mechanical laws of nature are set and immutable, but the spontaneous recognition of these laws gives us the power to bring them into practical use in everyday life and experience. And so it is.
So it is. I'd like to say something that, we pick the songs that we do every Sunday, and I try to do some every once in a while, the same one, so we can create some familiarity and be more comfortable, and we all can sing along. So that would be helpful. If you got a song that you've heard or you might like to hear, and we'll look and see if we can do it or not, just go ahead and email that to CSLSG, whatever it is, .org, and we'll take a look at that. So this is a song I've sang a few times in the past, and it's one of my favorite. I thought it might fit today. So please sing along. And that being said, let's go out into the garden. Wait, let's go into the garden. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can be anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Namaste, my friends.
Thank you, Alan. Love that song. Could you hear me singing with you?
I could hear you.
I was singing my heart out. Thank you. So it is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Joe Kovach. Good morning.
Good morning, Gwen. How are you?
I'm excellent.
You're singing too? Did you hear me singing?
I heard everybody. It was a choir.
There you go. Thank you for the introduction. And good morning to everyone. Another Sunday. I can't believe how fast time is going. It's already the last week of August. And here we are. And we're continuing to look at the wonder of nature. And we've talked about nature as in Mother Earth. We've talked about nature as in the plants and the animals and everything else in between. We've talked about nature as our resources, particularly water. And now we come down to us. Yes, we are nature. And we're going to talk today about humanity. And it's a funny word to me sometimes, this idea of humanity or human nature. Just what is human nature? So I'm going to ask you just to sit for a few minutes. I'm going to ask you right now, what's going on in your life? What's happening? I mean, I don't know about you, but there's a lot happening in my life. I have work, and I have our spiritual center that I run, and I have 2 kids, and I have a wife, and we've been celebrating 4 birthdays, I believe, this month. And we have this, and we have that, and the pets, and then you turn on the TV, and we have all that going on. How are you feeling? Because to me, that is all of human nature. All of it. What we call the good, what we call the bad. There's only one thing happening and being expressed here. And that is what, in a sense, our purpose as humans are doing. We're in this physicality reality. And so we're taking what we know as the divine consciousness, the divine idea, and we're making it whole. That's a pretty neat way of looking at it. And I was looking up, again, I have an education background, so I'm just going to read this. This is like the how would I say, the educational way of looking at it. It says human nature refers to the fundamental characteristics and psychological individualities shared by humankind, including ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. The term is often used to denote the essence of humankind or what it means to be human. The usage has proven to be controversial in that there is dispute as to whether or not such an essence actually exists. Now, that's a whole lot, and I'm not even going to go into that, but that's one way of looking at it. I like to take my purviews as simplistic. And I can tell you that from a very young age, I have spent my whole life watching other people. And it has brought me great joy, and has brought me sorrow and all the emotions in between. And it's no wonder that my profession has, I should say that human nature within me has led me to my profession of being a school counselor and an educator and a reverend, because I just love working with people. I love hearing their stories. And to me, this philosophy of science of mind and spirit fits because I am that, whatever it is in front of me. It's all human nature. And it's really, once I believe as I continue to practice, once I think I'm going to get it all, there's something new. So where are you at? Because that's okay. That too is an expression of God. I've got a lot of good quotes today I want to share. So this first one, which comes from our textbook, The Science of Mind, it says, "There is that within every individual which partakes of the nature of the universal wholeness, and insofar as it operates, is God." That is the meaning of the word Emmanuel, the meaning of the word Christ. There is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine. If I said nothing else today, this is the lesson, that we are on a journey of recognizing just this, that if there is one creator, and all the major religions say so, there's just one thing. If it creates, it has to create from itself. And therefore we, you, I, we, and everything we experience is just that. We believe and teach that, again, there is within us that which shares of itself. And again, we call it, whether we call it sometimes a divine being, sometimes we call it with a capital I, sometimes we call it, as Ernest Holmes calls it, the thing itself. And again, to me, whatever we label it as, it's going to limit us, or limit it. We can only see it from, in a sense, a limited view until we get to such time as we are so open consciously that we recognize that we truly are it, that. And in the end, there's going to be no word for it. Ernest Holmes also shares this from the same book. He says, "Incarnated within each one of us is not only a divine spark, capital S, not only an incarnation of the living spirit of the cosmos, but a unique presentation of the cosmic whole. So I want to break this down for a minute here, because again, we're talking about human nature. So human nature, divine nature, same thing, right? And if we continue to kind of, in a sense, make the divine part higher up, unreachable, then that's what we live from, that state of being. I'm never going to be that. And then we're in this constant state of trying, of not enoughness, of when, just striving. And I don't believe that's what life is all about. And it shows all around us. I mean, again, going back to some previous talks this month, nature doesn't strive. Nature knows and accepts fully who and what it is. And so many of us struggle to just understand that simplistic nature, that simplistic view. And so going back to the quote here, it says not only, again, is this divine spark, the incarnation means it's created, right? It's incarnating, it's being birthed within us. So it's not just, in a sense, in the divine, but a presentation of the whole. So as we are individuals, humans, we are also representations of the whole, right? So it's kind of like a number of weeks ago, I talked about looking at the universe in the way of a team and the members and the organization from the top down. You can't take an individual player off and not say it's part of the whole. Because if it's not, if all of a sudden it was God and something else and me, that means there's two. And that's four, two. And there's only one life happening, one life being expressed, one life being incarnated in, as, and through everything. It's amazing, this philosophy of new thought and ancient wisdom. It's sometimes such a simplistic way of looking at life. And yet, as we study it, there's so many different angles. It's like looking through a prism, right? And there's infinite colors and infinite ways of looking at that same light. And that's really what we're doing through humanity, is we're looking through and at ourselves as the whole through this individual perspective that I call Joe, and you call fill in your name, right? And that's when we sit back and take that satellite view of what's happening just here on Mother Earth. I can understand that. I can understand all these views, getting to to know itself from all these angles and different, from the low lows to the high highs. Another way I look at it as this beautiful masterpiece of music. And you can't just play one chord different ways. You look at it from the really low notes and the high notes. You look at it from individual notes and chords, and then every vibration is something different. Every time you pluck a string or every time you hit that skin on the drum head, it's different, unique, but it's still part of the whole. So there's a lot packed into that little quote there. Another quote. Now, this is from an author and staple in New Thought. His name is Eric Butterworth. If you've never read any of his material, I love it all. It's a long quote, but it's beautiful. And I wanted to share it. It says, there are no duplicates in the creation. Every snowflake, every blade of grass, every grain of sand, a unique design. In the same way, there has never been anyone, nor will there ever be anyone just like you. You are a unique expression of the creative energy of the universe, focused eternally, forever and ever and ever, as you. Yes, you are the divine original. And the divine intent, active as you, has one desire: to express expansively and creatively its uniqueness as the perfect idea it is in the infinite mind. This is your spiritual destiny. Another wow, take that in. I'm glad these are this is recorded so you can go back, and this is one I would hang on the fridge to remind myself every day. To me, that is a prayer for help waking up to, that we are divine originals, each human being in its own way, beautiful, perfect, whole, even when we don't feel that way. And there's a lot of things that we could focus on that cause us not to feel that way. And again, that's all part of humanity, because that's a way of looking at it, but it's not what we would call the truth, right? The truth is of love. The truth is of joy. And yet, depression, sadness, frustration, chaos still can lead us to the truth of wholeness, of divine love, of recognizing our eternal nature. Human nature is eternal nature. Again, let us not talk human and divine as if they are different, because they are not. And to me, that is what humanity right now is waking up to. That recognition that the divine spark is in and as this person I'm looking at, and they're just doing the best they can from what information they have gathered through their life. So who am I to judge them? I have not, as they say, walked a mile in their moccasins. So it's easy for me in my position to say, shame on them, etc., etc., etc. Which is also why when we're struggling, we are so hard on ourselves. We beat ourselves up because, well, that's what I would do to somebody else, so that's what I do internally. And the reason I do it to somebody else outside of me is because I do it to myself internally. They're both reciprocal. But yet, our teaching is of what we call spiritual truth. That perfectness, that wholeness is uniquely me. And yet it is the divine. It's both at the same time. As Jesus, the master teacher, said, I and the Father are one. So the Father was this idea that he would call God, the allness of God, recognizing that we are a part of that, a divine part. We are that. We feel separated as we choose to come into this human form. And if we can take and understand the blessing that it is, the opportunities that it gives us, pretty unique. Great quote. I love it. And then at the same time, let's get into a little bit of science part. Our founder says, life waits upon man's discovery of natural laws, still nature, his discovery of himself, and his discovery of his relationship to the great whole. Let me read that again. Life waits upon man's discovery of natural laws, his discovery of himself, and his discovery of his relationship to the great whole. So our reality is naturally divine. It's divinely set up to offer all of humanity a smorgasbord of experiences. I mean, think about it. Literally, we can follow any path, and it will go on and continue to just feed that desire that we're following. Right? So I love talking to people. There's infinite ways and experiences that come up in my life that can happen. Maybe someone who's mechanically in tune. They love engines. They love physics. And then that goes on and on and on and on forever. For the people who are just deep into reading or writing, the creative arts, it's infinite. And that's what we're doing here. And yet, none of this starts, none of it, until we, in a sense, wake up. That we become self-conscious. Not self-conscious as in a negative way of looking at ourselves, but self-conscious of recognizing I am an individual divine being. Until I recognize this, I'm not really making choices that are conscious. We call this default thinking. I'm just kind of bumping around, following the herd. Default. Like I'm just. It's like you're a boat and you're getting, tossed around on the ocean, and wherever the wind tends to blow you, because you're not in control of the sails at that point, that's just it. You're living a life that's happening to you. When and as we recognize our divine self, we discover probably the greatest power, which is choice. That we have the power of choice. That, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to just be tossed around. I have this tool. These sails, the sails operate like natural laws. and I can use them to guide me to a better, freer, fuller experience of life. Think about that. And we take this for granted all the time. And in the end, that's what science of mind and spirit talks about, new thought. That's what Jesus talked about, and even Buddha, in different ways, with this idea that what we hold in our heads, we eventually will hold in our hands. And if I don't like what's showing up in my hand and my experiences, I just simply have to go within and choose to think again. And I say simple, and I know it's not easy, but in the end, it's changing our thoughts. Wayne Dyer says, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Think about that, right? As I change the way I look at something, then the whole experience of what I'm looking at changes. So I can look at traffic, for say some guy, person cuts me off, right? Now, there was a time in my life where I would be happy to chase that person down and let them know how I felt about them. That's truth. Not that person anymore, thank God. However, now what if that was me and I'm chasing this person and I follow them and they pull into a hospital parking lot, get in the parking lot and run into the hospital? See, now at first, I thought it was all about me. They cut me off. I know they looked right at me. They don't care about me, and I'm going to go tell them, and there's that judgment. And then I changed the way I look at something. Ooh, now I want to pray for that person. What's going on in their life that through human nature is just unfolding? So as we change our thoughts, we truly do change our lives. And generally through these, we change our lives, change our thoughts, by the way, through these aha moments. And yes, in fact, as we change our thoughts, we are changing our life. These are sacred moments, these aha moments. And I want to ask you, I'm going to pause, but just think about these life lighting up moments. Just try to pick one, because we all have so many of them. It could be way back. If you're older like me, maybe something that happened in your life when you were a child or a student or in college or in a particular job. It could have happened last week. But all of a sudden, you have a different point of view, and it shifts your life. I remember back in high school, it was kind of like, popular with every crowd. And I don't say that egotistically. I didn't really know the depths of that. I just knew that I was okay talking to all the different cliques because I kind of in some way identified with each of them. And so I went to a house party and with my best friend, and he had some other friends that I didn't know. He was in a grade higher than me. And so my friend says, hey, so-and-so wants to talk to you. I'll call him Bob. Bob wants to talk to you. And I'm like, I barely know who Bob is. But all right, so to me, what I knew about Bob was he was this amazing athlete. Everybody knew him. The girls wanted to date him. He was kind of that guy. And here I am, to me, I'm a nobody. And so I go, yeah, I'll talk to him. And so Bob and I kind of head off down the street on a talk. And I'm kind of like, what's going on here? And long story short, Bob ends up sharing. He's like, well, first he says, a bunch of people said that, if I had a problem, I could talk to you and you would help. Okay, I don't even know really who you are, but now I'm just intrigued, right? I love learning about people. That's my nature. And he says, in the end, he comes from a big family. I believe it was 5 or 6 brothers and sisters. And he said, when I go to bed at night, I want to tell my parents I love them, but nobody else in my family does that. And so I don't say it, and that really bothers me. That was the foundation of what we're talking about. And so we had a beautiful talk about that. And what came through me, it was just, was that divine spark. And that changed, that was an aha moment for me. That, not only did I not recognize the power of myself as the human, that people were talking about me in this positive way that I had no idea. However, also that there's this thing that flowed through me that I didn't know what it was, but it was beautiful when I allowed it. And it changed this young man's life. And it changed my life because that was in high school. And that was many, many moons ago. So again, it's That's all part of human nature. His understanding of his family situation, what he was going through, that was all divine. And I just help him look at it from a different way, right? A different perspective in that prism. So we just never know what's going on until we, again, allow it, till we make that choice that says, yes, I'm willing to show up. And again, keeping this idea of looking at life through particularly my choice of how school age, because I learned a lot about, as a school counselor, about life through working with kids. And there's three kind of fun things that I choose to look at nature as. One of them is, as human natures are, we are thinkers and we are seekers. We are just curious cats. You know, we think about things and we want to dissect them, right? We want to know the whys. We want to know the hows. We want to know the who's and what happened. And that's, for us, many people, that's fun. That's just, you know, and again, the way this life is set up, it's infinite. It'll just go on and on and on until we kind of choose to just shift, right? And through being that way, through looking and thinking, we have evolved as a human race along with our planet. Also, I feel like naturally we are divine feelers, that our emotions are just a blessing. I mean, you know, no offense, but let's look at it. If everybody was just blissful all the time, would we truly have the experiences that we have? I mean, like I was saying, like we can choose to be happy at any time. And sometimes it's through recognizing that I'm really not feeling happy. I'm really feeling kind of frustrated, or I'm really feeling disconnected, or whatever I'm feeling. And yet there's a direct road to feeling happiness. And I can get there anytime I choose. And often it's just changing my thoughts, changing the way I look at things. And every emotion, everyone is a blessing. Every emotion is a sacred chord, going back to this example of life being just a symphony arranged by God. Right? It's natural to be happy. When we're just being ourselves, when kids are just being themselves, they're naturally happy. And at the same time, sometimes it's just natural to be depressed. It's natural to grieve. It's natural to be frustrated. It's all part of the whole that we get to experience as ourselves through our individual lives. And a fair question to ask ourselves, again, is, are we consciously choosing? Is that the priority in our lives? To really pay attention to what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and how is that showing up in the experiences, the people, the way things show up in our lives? Or do we have the default mode checked and we're just cruising? And part of human nature, we all drift. It's never life is great, 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 great. We hit those dips. Sometimes we even just pretend we're asleep. I don't really care. And we try to just, that's okay too. That's part of the divine. But oh, how good it feels to come back into our own power and choose. You know, I was bummed for a while. I remember going through breakups, and you know, I would be, of course, I'm in that depressed mode. And why is it that every song on the radio at the time would align with how I was feeling, right? That's law of attraction for you. You know, and then there was times where like, I want to feel that way. Like I would just keep it going. What's the next depressing song I can listen to? And if you think about it, doing that, listening to depressing music actually made me feel better. So is it bad? Because in the end, I'm going up the emotional scale. I'm calling it bad, like, yes. But what I'm recognizing is this person is saying something that I feel, which makes me feel a part of something, which is a better and uplifting experience for me. And then eventually I get to the point where I'm like, I don't want to hear that anymore, you know? And then I put on James Brown, I Feel Good, because I love that song. So this is all a part of our natural becoming. And what are we becoming? Well, I want to share this quote from Neil Donald Walsh. And he's a great author. And in his book, Conversations with God, it's a whole series, he says, the purpose of life is to create yourself anew, yourself, in the next, and I love this, grandest version of the greatest vision you ever held about who you are. It is to announce and become, express and fulfill, experience and know your true self as God. And I threw in the as God. What a quote. And from the first time I have experienced this and read this, which was well over a decade ago, I have not forgot it. I love it. We are creating the next grandest version of the greatest vision we've ever held about who we are. And so naturally, then the third point of who we are naturally is, especially again, seeing it through the eyes of children, is that we are naturally loving and joyful and want the best for others. Right? When I watch the kids play on the playground or the older kids in the gym, they're locked in. It's all about fun. And no matter what was going on before, the more fun they can have, even if that includes like, hey, we need another person on our team. I might not really necessarily like that person, but you know what? We want to have fun, and we recognize we're going to have more fun with you. And so whatever the judgments were, go out the window, and they just open to the top. I've heard the analogy that if we kind of didn't hold certain thoughts, like our joy, our true self is like a bobber, a fishing bobber for those of you, and then fishing bobbers go right to the top. They float on the top of the water. And so what happens is through our certain negative ways of looking at things, our judgments, it kind of gets pulled down under the water. And we feel this through our emotions, through what we would call our negative emotions. And anytime we want, we can just release those. And the bobber goes right back to the top, feeling great. And children are great at this. They're very quick to forgive and to forget and keep that fun flowing, that they keep life flowing. They stay in the joy. And yet sometimes they do get frustrated, right? We got to be real. That's part of human experience. And there's times when I turn on the TV and I tend to lose a little faith. I shift into those lower emotions. And Gandhi shares this about this when this happens. He says, you must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. Right? And so this is a different way than looking at the limited version of, one rotten apple can ruin the whole barrel kind of lack-minded perspective. So it's just perfect. Whew. And I'm looking at the time. All right, so I'm gonna just talking to Marina Tech World in the background. I'm gonna skip the story. So I'm gonna go by that and go to the next slide of quote here. Another long one. I'm gonna read it through. This is another great one, and I want to share these again. So at some point you come back and you can write these down and share them with yourself. So this is Ernest Holmes speaking. It says, "This I saw, or someone else, or else some inner presence made it known to me. The universe is filled with life. The air, the sky, the sea teem with intelligence, with majesty and might. And deep within me, some subtle inner sight beholds and sees, comprehends and knows the all. It neither fears nor falters, but answers the divine call to be as one beyond the bounds of time and space, to overcome the bondage of the human race and leap with trust undaunted, free into the deeps that infinite sea whose waters calm are ready to receive those who in simple faith believe." Whew. That just stirs within me. That's powerful. Okay. And matter of fact, I'm just going to skip to the affirmation here. So how do we close this together? We close this first knowing that we are divine and everything we go through is perfect. And now it doesn't mean we want to be there. It doesn't mean we're enjoying ourselves. But what I know is that there is a destination that I can get to through my thoughts, which is already present within me. That is perfect, whole, and complete. That is the love, the acceptance that I seek, whatever it is that I seek. And sooner or later, as I become one with this presence, I no longer really need to seek or desire. I just experience and enjoy. So affirmations are a powerful spiritual tool. And we end our talks with them because of that fact. And so let us just say together, I open my mind fully and know my true nature is divine. So let us conclude as I go into prayer. Get comfortable any way you want. Just join me, join our consciousness together whenever you're watching this, whether it's live or recorded, and know that we are that divine nature unfolding, knowing itself perfectly through what we would call our individual lives, knowing that that is not separate. We open to this truth, to this knowing, true that I and the Father are one. And I want to know this more and more in a deeper way. And so I call to life to show up in my life now. I know you are here. Reveal yourself, reveal the truth. The truth is being revealed right now in my life, that everywhere I look, it is God showing up. No matter what it is, I know it is happening for my best and highest good. I am so blessed to be a part of this community, Center for Spiritual Living, St. George. I know that every member and everyone listening to this talk has a new aha moment waiting for them right now. And so it is.
Thank you, Joe. Your words are so powerful and insightful, and your quotes, especially Eric Butterworth, that's one of my favorites. So
He's awesome.
He's very awesome. I've read him for years. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we have announcements, quite a few announcements actually. So I'll try to get through them quickly. So the book club is back. It's kind of like the kids being out of school for the summer, and now it's fall and we're all going back to school. So, but this is a fun school. Sue Fulmer is going to start the new book club on September the 8th from 6 to 7. So email her to join, or if you have more questions. This is really exciting. A new CSL St. George opportunity to connect, self-reflect, and create community. So let's have a conversation about diversity, equality, and inclusion. This begins on October the 12th. It will be on Zoom from 6 to 8, and it will be facilitated by Marina and Bill. So register, or for more information, contact Marina Anderson at cslstgeorge.org. It's going to be a wonderful conversation. So our in-person gathering is coming up on September the 10th from 10 to 12. It's at the Ridge Point Clubhouse, just off of Telegraph, easy to find. We've met there once before, and we're so grateful that they're allowing us to gather once again. And there's always treats, so don't forget that. So a little business. We're searching for a webmaster or a web administrator. We need someone that can help keep us connected to our community and beyond. There are weekly and monthly responsibilities. If you show any interest, please email St. George CSL, and we'll get back to you. We are here for you. Our community care circle provides compassionate support through calls, cards, and prayers. Please call and leave a message, and one of our members will get back to you. And our practitioners want to support you for any circumstances in your life with prayer, whether you want a gratitude prayer because everything's wonderful, or maybe you're struggling. Please leave an email. They will pray with you or for you. Tithing and offering. So there are 3 ways that you can help. either on PayPal, send us a check by snail mail, or you can just simply scan the code. I want to say just a couple of things about tithing, because it really is a spiritual practice, and we are so grateful for your gifts and support. When we give, it activates the law of circulation. And when we give in conscious gratitude, it acts as a multiplying factor, and the universe always mirrors back to you whatever it is that you do. So thank you. Thank you for supporting us. So join the community conversation. We're going to be on Zoom, and I think this will be a wonderful conversation because I enjoyed Joe's talk so much. So it's at noon. You can find the Zoom link everywhere. We put it in the newsletter and the Friday reminder, and it's, as always, on our homepage and our website. So please join us if you can. Anita is here to do affirmative prayer. If you feel like you want that, just simply type that information in the chat, and we will take you to a remote, private, virtual back room. So upcoming Sundays, we've got Senior Minister Rev back to back. So on the 4th of September, Good Work, and September 11th, Creating a Life That Matters. So please join us for those. So Marina's going to pop everybody up so we can do our closing affirmation. So gang all here?
Hey ho.
Okay.
Here we go. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in all that I do.
I am it. I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming. Thank you.
Woo!
Thanks, everyone.
Blessings. Have a
Come join us.
See you in a few minutes.
okay.
Yeah,